Hello and welcome to episode 29 of the Making It podcast. We are back for another podcast this week discussing all the latest in our Making It journey, however you define that. We're talking all about it. And 29 episodes in, Dan. Can you believe it? 29 weeks of podcasting. Coming up to the 30th week, which is, it's pretty crazy because we are more than halfway through the year now. But Dan, first of all, tell us how your week's been, because we're definitely way past the halfway mark of the week.
It's been a good week. I always find it difficult trying to think of what you did in the week before, but I've kind of just been keeping myself busy. A couple of shifts in the pub, seeing friends, doing things, seeing people. I'm trying to think of on Saturday, went to see some family friends who are from Scotland. They were round here. We did a bit of 4D mini golf, which was funny.
Oh, cool. I saw that. Okay.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it. I feel like I'm in a good mindset right now with things, and I've been enjoying the way life's going for me right now. But how about you? For the listeners, it's Jamie's last day on his holiday in Australia. Not the whole thing, but just being out in Western Australia. So how are you feeling about that?
Pretty good. I mean, it's super remote, so I'm kind of looking forward to being back home now. We found out our home has flooded in the time we've been here, so we've got to move somewhere else for a little bit. So there's a bit of moving around to do when we get back. But yeah, feeling good. It's been a really good holiday. Done some things that have made me feel really uncomfortable this week, particularly in water. I'll admit I'm not the strongest swimmer. I can swim. I can snorkel, can do a lot of things basic. But this week we got to the beach and the people I'm with were like, "Oh, we're going snorkeling." I'm like, "I'm not snorkeling off that. The waves are massive. There's no way I'm snorkeling." They're like, "Oh, the waves are fine. You're all right." I'm like, "Nah, that's too much for me." We did it before and it was completely flat, nice and smooth. And I'm like, "Easy." This was wavy as, like,
Easy.
yeah, easy, But like these are wavy as, and I'm learning how to like get through a wave, and I'm freaking out, like I'm proper freaking out. For the first 10 minutes, I'm just like frozen. I can't even get in. I'm terrified. And then they kind of forced me, but kind of eased me in. And they're like, "Come on, you can do it." And then the other one's just like, "Just get in the fucking get in the bloody ocean." And I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so much."
How are you feeling about Australia right now? Because I know next week is 2 months of you being there.
2 months. It's all feeling pretty normal. Pretty normal now. I mean, I'm still unemployed, so this is the longest I've gone without a job, that is getting to me now. Even not bringing my laptop out here. I'm on my person I'm staying with. I'm on their laptop to make this, but not being able to do the work that I'd like to do. Just those moments where I get that thing of I need to do this, or this is a good idea. I need to go and do that. Can't do it. So for like 2 whole weeks worth of me thinking about the stuff, just sat down and read a book on the beach yesterday, and I was thinking about all the stuff I could do when I get back, and I'm like, whoa.
Have you found benefits to that? When you've got that sort of like itch to scratch, not being able to actually itch it, and maybe just like enjoy what's in front of you more?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that I still do need the balance though. So it would have been nice to just have my laptop at night where I can just work on it a bit, and I can just itch the scratch a little tiny bit, at night. But we've been so busy throughout the day, like wake up at 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning, go to the beach, snorkel. I was going to try and learn to surf, but the waves are too much. And the sharks, I'm not a big fan of. But we got up at like 4:30 in the morning the other day. We went out on the fishing boat at 5:30 in the morning. We caught some humpback whales that were coming up for the morning breach. And it was just like, it's insane, but it's every day. And it's caught up on me now. I'm so tired. Like every single day I'm waking up and I'm like, whoa, I'm tired. So yeah, it's been nice to be in an area where there isn't much and everyone appreciates what they've got. And like I said last week, they appreciate that you don't need everything now. Like what you've got here is good, and anything you can get extra. Like you go to the shop past 3 p.m., everything's gone. The tourists just come and clear it out. But everyone's chill about it. They're just like, oh, all right then, we'll just go without this bottle of wine, or we'll go without this bit of food, or people are just fine. Do you know what I mean? They're just chill, even though we are so remote where we are.
It always reminds me of when I watched that Disney film called Soul, and this guy was trying. I've said a story on one of our early episodes when he was trying to become a jazz artist, and then someone said to him, he finally did this big performance with this big artist, who then said to him, you know, he was on this journey trying to find a certain thing, which was that performance. But then she said to him, maybe you've been swimming in the ocean all this time. That ocean you were looking for, you're already in it. And I always think about stuff like that. Like, you're always thinking about what's next, that goal you're trying to achieve, that career goal, that end goal, that final boss you're trying to get to. But what if all of it right now is the journey right now? We always speak about the process and the journey, and it's a very key thing in life, I feel. But you've been out in Australia, brother. You've had your friend help you by letting you stay with her, and you've been with their family, and then you've repaid that favor by helping back around the house and looking after the kids. And I want to talk about helping others today, because what kind of sparked this for me is me and my girlfriend Scarlett. I've been watching this Ricky Gervais series on Netflix. We finished it last night. It's called Derek, and it's about this bloke, and
Oh,
he's got.
yeah.
Have you
So
watched
good.
it? You watched
So
it?
good.
Oh, mate, it's
Yeah.
amazing. And he's got autism, but everything in his life is so simple. He just lives in this old people's home. He's happy just to help the old people. He takes every simple message and he makes it about his life. He loves animals. He'll love an apple cumberland custard for pudding. That's what he looks forward to in the day. And like, I know it's just a show, but it just made me realize just how important the simple things are. Like if I'm working at the pub and the kitchen assistant or one of the workers or anyone makes me a cup of tea. It's like simple things like that, and I feel like sometimes in life we forget about helping others, and that being such a big thing. And for him, that was, obviously it's not real, but that was his making it journey, helping others. And it's just such a key thing. I think something for me, and we'll go into something with you. You can think about something where you've helped other people as well, brother. But something for me where I feel like I help other people, especially over the summer period, is doing gardening for people who are a bit too old now, maybe to be able to do the things they wanted to do, even though they pay me. Like, I'm still helping them, and I've offered multiple times to some people that I'll do it for free, but they still really want to pay me. Watering people's plants when they're away. I'm doing that right now for a friend's mum. And funny enough, that leads me on to they were going away on holiday, and it's Leo. Obviously, Leo, but some listeners may. But his mum needed his plants watering, but her cat, she couldn't find her cat before they went away to Ibiza. And so when I got there to water the plants, lo and behold, the cat comes walking in. I had to take it to the cattery and everything. But it's just, I feel like sometimes in life we have to give up some of our time to help others. It's very rewarding, it's very fulfilling, and we can always be thinking, oh, I could be doing something for myself right now. But helping others is so key. Can you ever think of a time where you've helped someone and you felt really rewarded by it? Because it's such a powerful thing, I feel.
It's great. It's good to help people and not think about helping them in a way. It should just be something good you do. And funnily enough, we were talking about Derek at the dinner table tonight. So that's
Oh,
quite
that's
funny.
amazing.
I'll talk about it later on because there's a funny story behind why. But for your question, I remember we were walking through the mangroves and we went on this really long, just massive journey to this creek to go fishing. And it didn't have to be long. In a way, this could represent metaphors that you can determine yourself. But we decided to walk through this horrible mangrove, really small. Like the boys, the lads I was with, my mum's friends' kids, they just crouched down and just went through it. And I'm like getting stuck in the thing, cutting my thumb open. There's spiders on me, and it's horrible. And there's next to us this big dirt road track that we could have just walked on, no problem. But we went through all this mangrove. Well, on the way there, we were having a conversation, and one of her kids says, nobody thanks me enough for everything I do. I don't think he really does a lot. I think he's just a bit. He's like, people don't praise me enough when I do things around the house. They don't praise me when I wash my pot, or when I don't have pudding one night. And I'm like, you should just do things for the good of being a nice person, and I don't think you do that enough. And he was like, oh, well, I think I do. I said, I don't think you do. I think sometimes you can be really selfish. I think you need to do things just to be nice, and you don't need praise all the time. And it kind of relates to the idea of like just doing things because you're a good person subconsciously. Like that should be something we should all do. My favorite example was there was a homeless guy, and obviously he was asking for money. I'm like, I haven't got any money, really, like physical, because I don't carry change. I don't know about you, but I don't really carry cash, very rarely. And he said to me, oh, have you got any money at all? I'm like, no, I've got nothing. But I said, come and sit in Burger King with me for a bit. And he was just sat outside Burger King. So I thought, well, let's go and get some food. Do you want some food? And he's like, All right, then, yeah, fine. And we got this big meal between us. And we were just kind of talking about how he got to where he was. And he didn't really go into it much because I didn't want to ask him too much about it. But I kind of just wanted to grasp, where are you from? You got any family? Like, try and recommend him places to go to get help, in a way. But, I don't think he really wanted help. He just wanted someone to talk to for a bit and have a bit of food. And you know what? As much as that was good and I would hope beneficial for him, that was good and beneficial for me. Not for the fact that I went home and I was like, okay, good. I've ticked off my daily deed. On to the next one. It was like, I've actually just had a conversation with someone whose life is in a very difficult position because of something that I would imagine is not really of their own doing. Something's gone wrong in their history, and it makes me realize how lucky I am in a sort of a bit of a selfish way, but also how real the problems that people have are, because sometimes we forget about it. Sometimes when people say I feel so bad for homeless people, it's like a throwaway comment. I feel so bad for someone with this disease, or I feel so bad for someone in this situation, but they actually don't appreciate the fact that they aren't in that situation, and like someone else really is living that, you know? So you should always try and help people. It's good. It's just good to do good things. And it's even better to do good things and to not have to require someone else to pat you on the back to know it's a good thing,
Stop right there. This is Daniel talking here, and I know right now you're enjoying the episode, but I've just got to give a really big shout out to something, and it's Making It Moments. That's where our guests are. That's where the people we bring on to talk about their journeys are. Go and listen to Making It Moments. Go find them on our Spotify and YouTube. Find clips on our socials. Making It Poddy. Making It Moments.
Yeah, 100%. I'll always remember when I was on about being kind and doing good things for other people, and a couple of my friends were like, well, surely you only ever do that because you then want something back from that person eventually, like trying to say that like there's no possible way you can do something good for someone and not want something back from them. Like, I always just think being kind without the expectation of getting something back is always such a powerful thing. Now, talking about, the way other people view things and perspectives, and we always talk about two friends, two perspectives on this podcast. Something that kind of came to mind yesterday for me was just the idea of sometimes we can spend a lot of time thinking about other people's thought processes. You've got a boss at work who maybe thought something bad about what you've been doing recently, and you're trying to understand their thought process. Maybe your friend is something a bit something you won't do yourself, and you're trying to think to yourself, I don't know if I understand that thought process. Or, even just someone in your family, you've had a little fallout, you're trying to understand exactly why they did that thing. Or I feel like we can spend a lot of time in other people's thought processes, trying to understand why other people do things and what other people think about me, and, what are they doing with their life that I'm not doing, and all these different things. And rather than focusing on our own thought processes and trying to understand ourselves more, I don't know if you can ever truly, ever 100% understand yourself at first, let alone trying to understand others. People like to speak, oh, I love to like psychoanalyze situations. And don't get me wrong, it can be fun. Like, oh, I wonder why that person did that and that. But on a more serious level, like if you're always trying to like psychoanalyze other people and wondering why other people do the things they do, it's like, is that a waste of time, Jamie? Would you say that's a waste of time?
Depends what your intention is. For me, when I'm at football, I like to watch the session and try and focus sometimes on individuals. Like, maybe there's someone who should be having a good game but isn't. Why? You should psychoanalyze that sometimes. One of the lads, they came off the pitch crying a few weeks ago. Give them a few minutes, kind of try and analyze it yourself. Why is this happening? Speak to them, and try and get to because if you want an outcome for them, then sometimes there is a reason for psychoanalysis. But I feel like some people do it in a way that isn't really that beneficial. Like, they'll just be in a conversation and they're like, why is he thinking that way? I don't agree with that. Like, you don't need to go that deep. If you're just in a conversation with your mates, if you don't agree with something that someone says, you either go, oh, you're just a bit of a, you're just a bit of a whatever. Try not to swear for you, Dan. By the way, don't psychoanalyze that though. But just kind of, I would say it depends on the scenario, because in everyday scenarios where you just talk to your mates, strange. In those situations where you're trying to get the best out of someone in order to tailor your next conversation or your next drill for coaching wise, you need to be able to understand what works for them and what you can do to help them. But situation dependent, I would say.
No, I completely agree, and I was thinking about that as well because the career path that I want to get into, sports psychology. You kind of that is almost your job in a way to try and understand the athlete's thought processes, maybe the way they can work on themselves to think better for themselves, or maybe understand why they're thinking in a certain way. So completely, I think context provided. I think trying to understand other people's thought processes is very important. Maybe there's someone who you're trying to be like, a mentor, and you want to pick their brains a little bit. But I guess the more direction I was coming from was maybe like you say, like if you're at the pub and you're having a fallout with someone, or maybe a couple of your friends had a fallout and you're trying to understand why they did that because you wouldn't do that. I think there's unnecessary times to look into someone's thought processes, just like you say, but there are very beneficial times to use it. It's almost like we have a lot of skills as humans, and it's like a lot of the time we may use them for things that aren't beneficial, but it's about understanding, okay, in my days, when am I using the abilities I have in a beneficial way? Are you always thinking about the way other people think? Then maybe that could be a career path for yourself, and it's thinking about your strengths and weaknesses. But relating back to Derek, maybe this could be the Derek.
Yeah,
but the simple things in life, like it always opens my eyes when I see someone that just loves to live like a simple life, just like Derek. Like helping others is his making it journey. Like I say, like a pudding at, I think he says 6 p.m. in the evening is like something he looks forward to in the day. Animals, the small things, just like even that. If anyone's watched Derek, the Kev bloke who's in it, like being best mates with him,
oh,
even
oh my
he's
God.
such an odd character. But I think living a simple life is I think in ways it's very important, and I definitely love to have this discussion now with you, brother, because simple things are important. Simple things like me and you having a conversation. I'm grateful that we have this podcast because it naturally gives us a conversation every week. I love that. That's simple. Um, Making dinner for someone, that's simple. Doing things which don't cost money, go on a walk, that's simple. The simple things, but there are areas of our life which are complex. I don't know. Let's say, for example, I'll take this podcast as an example, right? Let's say all of a sudden, and maybe one day this could happen. This podcast blew up. This podcast then becomes quite a bit more complex for us because it almost feels like, even though we have a responsibility now for those that listen regularly, it almost feels like if there's loads more people listening, it's then more complex. How do we then push it even further? How do we maintain these people? Do we need to change the way we do things? I don't know, maybe a footballer, an academy footballer. They're simple. They're 8 years old. They've been playing football. They just like it for fun. But then they start to get better. They get to 15 and they're on the verge of a scholarship. They then get the scholarship. Then they become an elite athlete. Then all of a sudden, they're playing against Real Madrid. That's more complex. And something that's came to my mind right now is Lewis Miles Skelly, a footballer who plays for Arsenal. Obviously, bro, but just for the listener, if they don't know, I think he's 19. I think he's 19. I don't know if he's 18 or 19, but he's very young, below 20. And he had a breakout season, but just before the Real Madrid game, he was calm. It was just like another game for him. He's been working on that sort of mindset. He kept things simple. So in life, as we kind of level up ourselves in our making it journey, as we get maybe more successful, maybe to label it, do things get more complex? But can we then bring them down to a simple process? Can we still enjoy the simple things? Do you kind of get the sort of like debate I'm trying to think of? Like things do get more complex the more you level up, but isn't it important to keep things simple? I don't know. Maybe it's a continuum, but what are your thoughts on what I just said, bro?
Yeah, I think it's important to keep everything simple to an extent, because it's important for your understanding. I hate to bring it back to football because, again, that's my language. So, but when you're playing a game of football, you want your system to be as simple as possible for people to understand, your own players, and you want it to be as effective as it can be. And it's like everything in life, it's, people who write really fancy emails. I think it's stupid. People who know each other, people that know each other that write really fancy emails, you are idiots, all of you, because you already know the other person, but you want to waste so much time trying to communicate something when you could literally make it so simple. And all right, maybe it doesn't relate to the levels as you go up in life, I guess, but keeping things simple. I think that humans have actually an art of overcomplicating things and making it difficult to raise their own social profile. I think that is a thing that, I mean, I don't know if there's a psychological term for it, but I feel like that is something that humans have evolved to do over time. And as you go up into your career or your life and things get more complex, because they do, as the decades go on, your life becomes more complicated. Relationships change. Unfortunately, people pass away. Career prospects change. The world changes. Things get more complex. It is good to keep things nice and simple and remember that most of the stuff we worry about doesn't matter. Most of the stuff we think we can't do, we can. And usually it's fairly simple. Even more so now with the amount of support and technology we've got available to us. But it's a bit of a complicated question, I would say, to give a sort of linear, straight answer to you. But it's good to keep things simple. And it's good to remind yourself of that the simple things are really important. Like you say about Derek, and I never thought we'd be discussing Derek on Making It, which is, yeah, that's funny as. But it's a good example because those people in that show, they do just appreciate small things. And we all laugh at it, but we're like, do you appreciate there being pudding in the freezer enough? Like, when you get ice cream out of the freezer, I don't know about you, Dan, but like, it's not a common occurrence. When someone says, oh, we've got ice cream in the freezer, you want a bit? I'm like, yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Yeah, that makes me quite happy. Like yesterday, we were watching sunset. Sunset's something you take for granted. We went and watched the sunset. We brought a couple of beers. We brought some cheese. We brought some other little bits. And we put 4 camping chairs and a table at the top of this hill and just watched the sunset. And it's like, you know what? I don't watch it enough. You don't appreciate how many colours it comes with. You don't appreciate any of it. These are all simple things that happen every single day, like clockwork. Everywhere. But, people overcomplicate things, what their night should be, what else this should be. Keep it simple, man. Be a human being. Just live. That's what you got to do. Just enjoy it.
I know what you mean, man, but we get used to things like a sunset because it's there every day. We don't feel like it's a privilege. But imagine if someone just got planted on this earth for one day and they saw a sunset. They'd be like, oh my God, I've got to see this. I can't believe I don't see this every day.
Yeah, I was reading that book you told me to read, Start With Why. I've been reading that and it's proper opened my eyes to how I want to approach things. Because I sat on the beach and I was like, I don't fancy snorkeling today. It's just not my day. And I saw all these people getting hit into these rocks and I'm like, nah, I'm all right. These guys are good swimmers. I'm not doing that. I'll read that book. And I was reading the book and the first 5 pages of any book, I'm like, this is boring. I'm just reading words on a piece of paper. This is terrible. I'm making myself look like a knob on the beach. And then I go, you know what? This book's actually really good. And I keep reading. It's always talking about Apple. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's like why Apple do things. I'm like, this guy is obsessed with Apple. But I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, when you discover what your intention is with things, why you do things, why you are who you are, and why the sunset is so special to you. Like why the more you ask that question about the things you like and the things you don't like, the more you realize what is your value, what is your authenticity. And when I'm like, why is sunset so special? Because the people I'm spending it with, because the time I'm doing it, the place I'm doing it. Will I ever be able to do it again in that specific spot? Probably never. That was probably my last time in my entire life that I'll visit that exact spot and do that exact thing with the exact same people. You got to appreciate this. You got to, and in fact, I'll tell you a story now. I don't want to go too much on a ramble, but a really strange guy approached me when I got out of the water from snorkeling, when I did that really daunting day. A really strange guy in an RV, 60 years old, covered in tattoos. And he's, how you doing, mate? Do you see any fish in there? Just like that. And I'm like, oh, just a few, mate. You know, it's the ocean. There's a few in there. And he's like, oh, what do you see? What do you see? And I'm like, just some weird looking ones and some big ones. And he's like, oh, right, you not see any sharks? And I'm like, no, no. And he's like, oh, right, I had a heart attack 6 months ago. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I broke my back last year. I'm like, just overwhelmed, like all this stuff's going on. And then at the end, he just went, as he was walking off, he just went, I could have died then, and I didn't. And I'm just here surfing today. I love life. I just walked off, and that was that. And I'm like,
Bro.
what? I was like, I really want to like interview this guy, but he's insane, completely insane. But he's a 10-pound pommy. Search up what that means after this. But he just said, I just love life. You've just got to appreciate it because I should be dead now. And I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Mate, just everything you just spoke about there, bro. Like all the
Sorry,
why
that's a lot.
stuff.
But
No, but all the why stuff, man, everything, like it's just so spot on. Like I think about this stuff every day. So hearing you speak about it, it was like, oh bro, it's just I love it, man. Like that's literally what I live and like die for. Like just what that story you told me, man. Like it's everything. I think about it all the time. Like I just feel like even myself, like even now, you get too like bunged up in things you don't need to, like complex things. Like I don't know, maybe with me doing my Instagram, like have I done my video every day? And I still do, of course, but I'm trying to understand like you don't still do it every day because that's what you set out to do. That's why you do it. But it doesn't have to be so technical all the time. Like just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Like you say, maybe as humans we overcomplicate things now. But I want to hear this story about Derek at the dinner table.
oh, Derek. So we decided to go fishing early. Now I've spent the whole day inside because I didn't fancy going out this morning. There was a whale watching tour, but it was like 200 quid or something like that. Swim with a whale shark. And my mum's friend went, so I got some GoPro footage off her.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Put it on my Instagram because I didn't actually go, but it was awesome and it was my GoPro, so I basically did go. But today I woke up, slept in 7:30 in the morning, not very good, and then I walked to IGA, the supermarket. I spoke to Declan, my mate, for 2 hours on the phone. Made me feel like I was back home, but he's coming out here, so we were talking about all the stuff we're going to do, and it was like getting me all excited. And I'm like, wait, it's not till November. We've still got time. And the people that we've been coming all the places with and doing all the fishing with, their kids came over, and then their mum came over, and she went, "Oh, do you want to come fishing with the boys? Like they're all going soon." And I'm like, I don't know if I fancy it. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm not going to get to fish this area again. Let's just go and do it. Let's go and do it. I'm so up for it. And we went to the supermarket, got some water, picked up some other little bits. And then we're driving to the marina where we're going to go fishing. And she just goes, can I tell you something, Jamie, about you that I've kind of observed? And I don't know if this is offensive or not because I'm an Aussie. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. Like, all right. She said, you remind me a lot of Carl Pilkington. And I'm like, what? She's like, just the rhythm of how you say things and the way that your humor is sometimes. And I'm like, I don't know. Is that the case? And like, she brought it up again at the dinner table, and her husband was like, "Oh, what? He's the guy from Derek, right?" And I'm like, "You've watched Derek?" And he's like, "Yeah, all our family, we love all the British comedies, and we love Derek. We love Afterlife, and we love all of this." And we were kind of just talking about it, and it was just like, Carl Pilkington. Like, I don't even know where this came from. I was fishing this whole time, and I caught 2 fish, and I was thinking, Carl Pilkington. Where's that came from? But until you go somewhere where no one shares your accent, no one shares your humor quite like you do at home. Like I walk into work, everyone's got that humor. We all sound the same and it's fun. But when you come out here and no one sounds like you, sometimes you feel a bit like the odd one out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm proud of our little British thing we got going on. I'm proud of our humor. I'm proud, mate. It is
Mate, Cole
fan.
Pingleton, man, that's a funny one. I've never compared you to him. I might need to start watching more stuff of him just to kind of understand it. But I'm used to that humour, so mate, that's a funny comparison.
It's just weird. We were literally just in the car and she said it, and I'm like, I have no idea where you've got that from. But then when we're at the dinner table, they're like, that's it. There, what you just said there. And I'm like, say that all the time. It's just what I say. But I don't know. You know, the cultural difference when you go somewhere. It's amazing. And they got so many like Spanish people over here and stuff who are all like, the amount of different cultures you get in such a remote part of the world. It's crazy. And now I've got to drive all the way back. So that's 3 days or 2 days of driving and then a big flight. So you got much planned for this week, Dan? Coming up?
Yeah,
week?
I have actually. I'm going to London for the night tomorrow with my friend Ollie. We're going to visit Fiki for the night. Stay at his house in his guest room. Maybe go on a bit of a night out in London potentially.
Come on, cheeky.
And then will be expensive if we do that. And then come back on the Wednesday. Then I'm off to see my nana on Thursday, and then staying at my grandparents on the Thursday night, and then I'm working at the weekend. So I'm looking forward to this week. I'm excited. But how many days you got a Euro trip then, brother?
So we've got tomorrow and Wednesday driving, and then Thursday we've got 2 hours to Perth Airport, and then we fly home, which is 6 hours. So we get back into Brisbane at 5 a.m. on Saturday. So
That's a long trip.
It's a very long trip. But mate, all we do on the drive is we listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers. We eat celery with hummus. We'll just buy 2 big bunches of celery and we'll just peel off it. And then every 3 or 4 hours, we just stop at a fuel station somewhere. This country's too big, man. It is too big. And last week, I would like to correct myself because I made a false statement that Australia was as big as Europe. Now, actually, in terms of land mass, Australia has more. But in terms of actual width, it isn't quite that big. In fact, it would be to one of the earlier cities in Russia. So I do apologise. But it's massive, mate. So don't even worry about it. It's just
That's still pretty big.
I'll probably do a little vlog of the road trip. I actually need to do a vlog of the road trip coming here, which I'll probably put on I'll put it on our social stuff. Now that I'm a hit on TikTok, I'll have to do that. So yeah, give us a shout out on TikTok. Making it poddy. Let's do this.
Nice one, man. Well, it's been another good conversation with you, brother, man. I enjoy it every time.
Loved it, mate. I've loved it. And I know you've got work soon. Monday? Is it Tuesday? Monday, Tuesday? Monday.
I'll have Ryan. I'll have Sam on.
Oh, yes. Give Sam a shout for me.
That'd be good.
This is what I miss. These simple things back home. Just going to work on a Monday. Miss that big time. So enjoy it. Do it, mate. Make a cup of tea for her for me.
I would. I always do, man. Come on. I'll give her a brew.
Give her a brew from me. Nice one. Well, anyway, that was episode 29. Get your social media stuff in, Making It Poddy, or email us, makingitpoddy@gmail.com. We love your interaction. We'd love to hear what you're trying to say. Anything you think about the podcast, just let us know. We'd love to hear more from you. Have a fantastic...
Check out, just to interrupt you, Jamie, and check out a recent guest episode, my neighbour, Malcolm Mortimer, Making It in Media.
Making It moments, people. Get on it. Dan, love that, my friend. Have a fantastic week. Make sure you stay safe. And we'll see you next Tuesday, 10 in the morning. Peace out.
Take care, everyone. Goodbye. Bye.